Hi, everybody. I'm really delighted to be joined by Hollie Russell, who is Marketing Director at YardLink. And YardLink is one of our best customers, and we've been working with them to implement HubSpot. And today I'm going to chat to Hollie about the journey so far with HubSpot. So, Hollie, perhaps we can get started by just asking you, just tell us a bit about YardLink, first of all.
Yeah, absolutely. So YardLink is a construction supply chain platform that connects suppliers with customers all across the UK. So we've got one of the most expansive coverage across the UK with over 2,000 depots across the UK, from everything from plant hire, tool hire, waste management, materials. We do everything. The key focus for us is on the technology. So a big thing for us is on driving the digitization of what is a very traditional industry. We were founded in 2018 by Nirul Shah, who's our CEO now, who had an idea after working within the construction financing space of a procurement platform that could bring kind of good old-fashioned customer service with the technology. And that's what we're building here at YardLink. So it's a very exciting place to work.
Amazing. Thank you. So let's talk about where your journey with HubSpot began, really. When you approached HubSpot for the first time, what was it you were looking to achieve with that software?
Yeah, so I'm marketing director at YardLink. I started back in March of last year. And when I came in, one of the first kind of observations were we were working across quite a few different platforms. So we had our operations team using one platform. We also had our sales team using another platform. Marketing was utilizing a couple of platforms. And we just all of us within the business realized we need a better solution for how the business operates. And obviously, as a business, we're trying to drive, profitability and efficiency for construction contractors, and we need to kind of live and breathe that within our organization as well. So we actually started the process looking at various different options almost as soon as I started with the business. Being completely honest, at the very beginning, Salesforce was very much in the running.
Mm.
Um, it's actually the previous to joining YardLink, every role I'd ever worked within had Salesforce. So there was a little bit of
Yeah.
personal, you've worked with it before, it's probably a little bit easier to implement. But we just didn't feel comfortable that it was the right solution for us as a business. We're a startup, scale up business. We want to be, using the best tech that's available. So after multiple different intro meetings with various providers, myself and Nirul and the rest of the senior leadership team were like, let's seriously look at HubSpot, and that's where you guys came in.
Yes. No, that was great to be working with you in that kind of evaluation of it. And so, why don't you tell us a bit about the different parts of HubSpot that you were looking at? So it wasn't just marketing in the end, was it? Service was also an important part of the mix for you.
Yeah, I think if I'm completely honest, the main focus for us as a business was around our operations and sales team.
Yeah.
So obviously, as a business, we're working within supply chain. We obviously have this network of suppliers that we work with, and it's super important for us that the customer is at the heart of everything that we do. And we felt that our systems were letting us down, and that we weren't able to be, as proactive as what we needed to be. So that's really the focus for getting HubSpot in. So I think, as part of the integration you did with us, it was very much starting off with operations at the heart of the build. But yeah, it was operations, it was finance, it was marketing, it was sales that we were looking to do.
And I think actually it's really interesting hearing that from a marketing director, because I think historically HubSpot has been seen as the go-to marketing suite. But we're now talking to a marketing director who's saying, well, the main use cases was really about supporting the customer service aspect and the operational side of it. So that's really, really good to hear in terms of other people that might be listening.
I think like marketing was definitely a primary focus for me coming into the project. We did have systems that we were using that did work. We were able to do, a level of things for our customers. But yeah, it definitely was the operations systems where we really felt we needed to make the change quickly. And I suppose that was, it was, I think, a massive advantage really to us was the fact that we were reviewing all processes that the business were doing and how we would look to onboard something like HubSpot to work for the business as a whole. And Neeril, who's our CEO, was really heavily involved actually within the project, because he'd obviously built YardLink from the ground up and really
Yeah.
understood how the business operates. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's been a blessing that we've done it in this way.
Yeah, and I remember because obviously you're very technologically aware and driven. So he was immediately able to see how this could all plug into your other systems and kind of join in. But were you nervous about anything about the idea of bringing in a system that's going to be like a really critical part of your tech stack?
Yeah, I think definitely there'd been quite a bit of change actually. We had tried some other systems prior to moving over to HubSpot. So about about 8 months prior, we had actually implemented a new system, and it hadn't really taken off how we wanted it to. And we realised actually there was quite a few limitations, and we needed to almost think not just about what do we need in the next 12 to 24 months, but actually what do we think we need, the more longer term, and how can we make sure we have a system that works across our different all the areas of our business, so that we have that unified view, so that we can do what's best for our customers. And obviously massive part of that's marketing, so that was a massive motivation for me to be so involved in the project from the off.
Amazing. And then what finally swung it in HubSpot's favor then versus the other systems out there? Was there anything that you can kind of sort of hit the nail on the head and say that's why we bought HubSpot?
I think it was part of the demo process. So it's actually being able to see the demo process through the sales process, and comparing it to the other providers that we were looking at, and feeling that it stood kind of head and shoulders above. And then I think massive bits around like customer referrals, so reaching out to our network. So kind of everybody who was involved in the project was doing their own research with their own networks, and hearing really good stories about it and how it had been used, and thinking, that's, I always think, kind of a rubber stamp when you're looking at other things, is people's actual experience of it. 'Cause it's all well and good seeing a demo and thinking, oh, how could it apply to our business? But then hearing it from people who've actually implemented it and seen real business value is obviously the most important thing.
Brilliant. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about implementing then. So I think a lot of people quite rightly, they want a system that can be customized for their business. So they don't just want something that's very fixed off the shelf. They want something that kind of flex and adapt to their business. So could you tell us a little bit about the process that we've gone through together and your team's gone through in terms of like making HubSpot do the things that you want it to do?
Yeah. I think for us, it was about being super focused on what we actually wanted to achieve out of the platform. Like, what does success look like? What do we actually want to achieve? And then working so closely with you guys, who obviously do these kind of implementations all the time, to say, there's an awful lot in that. There's obviously a phased approach to how we'll deliver it. So really understanding the business requirement and then translating that into an implementation plan that had this phased approach was super key. But then also a big thing for us was really reevaluating all of the internal processes that we had, and almost, obviously we needed to convey all of that to BBD Boom in order to actually build the system. And also, obviously, we had the guided approach for some of the areas of HubSpot, and then the managed approach for some of the areas of HubSpot. So I think that really worked in our favor, because internally we had to get a lot of work done on the processes to be able to convey those to you and make, obviously ensure you guys understood what we were trying to achieve. But again, being super grounded in what is the objective of why we're doing this. Because we included a lot of people around the business in this project. It wasn't something that was just ring fenced to say, 3 or 4 people within a project team. It pretty much reached everyone within the organisation. So we had a lot of ideas, we had a lot of feedback. So it's really felt, in terms of the actual rollout, there's a lot of buy-in from the business
Yeah.
because of the process that we've been on.
And I think maybe you touched on it there. If I can ask you about the challenges that you've had implementing it.
Yeah.
And also, I suppose for people that are thinking about following you in that journey to HubSpot, like what tips have you got for people when they're thinking about implementing HubSpot?
Yeah, I think it's really important to think about the challenges that you'll experience when you're doing a rollout like this, especially when you're doing it across so many different departments within the business. You can almost not get sidetracked on thinking, right, this is what we need to do, and then rolling it out to, the first team. But it's making sure that everybody feels that to their specific department and area, they have been taken into account, they've been considered, their challenges have been listened to, and that thought process has gone into the actual development. We did some serious implementation rollout. Obviously, you guys facilitated a big part of that. So that was a big thing when we signed the contract with you, which is what does the training and rollout actually look like, and how do you guys support that from a technical perspective? And that was massive. But then also not just saying, right, we've delivered it now, away you go. There was a continual follow up, even to this day where there's still stuff that's going on, because we're trying to layer it up now and trying to take, get it to do more, improve some of the stuff that we set up when we launched with you guys. So it's just a continual process, I think, of learning and developing it and making sure people feel part of that process. I'm not saying we got it 100% right. There was definitely things, certain areas within the business that potentially didn't get as much time on their challenges or their opportunities as maybe some other teams did. So that we're trying to kind of work through that now. But I'd say if I had to call out a couple of key things, one is to make sure you've got somebody leading the implementation and the training. So somebody who's actually accountable for making sure that they're overseeing it across everything that's been rolled out, and making sure that you put those training sessions in. And if you think they're too many, they're probably not enough. And trying to get some as well, trying to collect some information from the team that you're rolling it out to on how confident they feel, because often in those sessions you might be doing a training session with 20, 30 people. It's quite hard for people to voice if they're not 100% sure with something. So I just really made myself available as well as people within my team to say, you've got a go-to person. And kind of developed as well some super users across the business, so not just within marketing, but across operations, across finance, across operations, who were the go-to people, so that otherwise it could have been a very full-time job very quickly.
So that's really interesting. So you've touched on, you've made said a lot today about adoption, which is amazing. It's lovely to hear. So you brought people on the journey right at the beginning and understood their needs and made sure they're listened to. And then you've done lots of training and had the super users, which is great. And then obviously behind that, there's all the technical bits and pieces, isn't there, of configuring the CRM so that it represents how your business operates, and then integrating it into your other systems and stuff like that. So that's really fantastic. I think sometimes I think people do underestimate all of that. And the other thing you said there was really interesting about the fact that you're rolling with it. It's you keep building on it. I think people should expect that this isn't. What do they used to say about dogs aren't presents for Christmas? It's not just there and done and dusted in Christmas. It's going to be a lifetime's work, really. Not hard labor, but you're going to want to improve it and tweak it. And we've got clients where they've gone and bought another business. Right, okay, so we need to bring that in, and there's some changes there, or you change your markets you're going after. So I love the way that we've worked with you in a really flexible way. We've done some managed stuff, we've done some guiding stuff, we've done some additional bits and pieces for you afterwards.
Yeah.
But really, it's great to hear that you're now taking that and running with it and just kind of expanding it within your team.
Yeah, I think we've got so many ideas. We've got almost like a roadmap now of things that we want to do. And, there's certain things even within our package that we've got that aren't included that we're planning on getting on board. And it's just, I think, really making sure that we're, as a business, constantly reviewing how HubSpot's working for us and making sure that we're getting the most value. Because, as you know, we've probably not even scratched the surface of all of the capabilities of HubSpot. So it's a bit of a journey, I suppose, that we're going on for that.
Amazing. Can I ask you about indicators of success? So are there things that you can point to within the business to say, look, we're still not finished, and we're never going to be finished, like we said, but people are really finding their day-to-day jobs got easier. We're able to run better reports. Things are taking less time. We're converting more leads. Things like that.
Yeah. I think for us, it was about really understanding it on a function by function level. So from marketing side, it's massively helped us in terms of the support that we offer to the business. So YardLink at the heart of it is a currently a sales-led organisation. We have a sales team who, manage our customers. Where, our target audience is SME construction contractors who, have multiple projects running at any given time. They have lots of things that they're working on, and we have account managers who support that relationship. And what HubSpot has facilitated for sales is massive. The automations, the workflows, the support around tasks, and trying to understand from our best performers what's working and being able to apply that to new members of the team. And in terms of KPIs specifically around marketing, there's so many metrics that we can look at that we've been able to have an impact on. The systems that we were using previously were so traditional. Like, we're able to reach more customers now through communications. We're obviously reviewing our engagement around the communications that we're sending and seeing improvements on those metrics. And then you equally go into other functions where operations, obviously time to close tickets in terms of everything that is coming through to our service desk. We have an enormous amount of activity that goes through our service desk, and being able to look at our quality levels really as a key benchmark of how we're performing is massive. There's constant things that we're utilising HubSpot for. We have the reporting. A big piece for us as well was working for you guys was not just configuration of the system, but actually help us configure the dashboards that are going to give us visibility on the metrics that are the most important to us. And, similarly, finance, they've now integrated more with our operations team around how they manage tickets. There's not, a lot of overlap, and we've tried to review that process more and more. Sales team, for example, the visibility across their customer portfolio and the engagement that they have with their customers has improved as we're, improving our touch points and having a more consistent approach, I suppose, to our customer base.
So it sounds like HubSpot is becoming an intrinsic part of your business, that you're actually operating your business, large parts of your business from HubSpot.
It absolutely is. I think obviously because of the way we've done it across the whole business means it's kind of it's fully woven into the YardLink DNA now, and there's not many conversations that happen across our business with some reference to HubSpot, or there's always something involved in a conversation where somebody's thinking, oh, could HubSpot do that? Or have we thought about how that could be facilitated within HubSpot? So it's amazing from like a visibility perspective as well, of like joining the business up. You can see now on a customer level, any activity that marketing's doing, any activity that sales is doing, anything that's operations have been working on, finance, if there's any tickets, sat with the finance team, and for the account managers to have that at their fingertips is super powerful.
That's amazing, because when I'm talking to new customers, I always talk about single customer view. And I think you've just articulated it, what that actually means in real life. And actually, a couple more questions. What is your favorite feature of HubSpot? Personally, do you think it's like just fantastic, helps you do your job better?
There's probably two that I call out. One, I think, is the reporting, like the custom reports that we've been able to build has just been amazing and really, really helped me in terms of, my day-to-day, my workload, having that to be able to, not have so much time, I suppose, around building reports and having more things at your fingertips than actually use to make the changes or, improvements that are required. And then I think the second thing for me is probably around the workflows, just like the automations, the flexibility around those, how, I had a call with our CCO today, and we were talking about some initiatives that we want to look to run, and going through literally a workflow creation in 10 minutes to say this is the kind of thing that we could do is really exciting for us, and just means that we can do a lot more. We're a team at the moment. YardLink is a business, I think we're at 75. We're not a massive team. Marketing alone is 4 people, and we've got massive ambitions for what this business is going to achieve, and HubSpot's really facilitating us do more, I think.
That's fantastic. So yeah, HubSpot's powering you to do more than you could have done with the existing team and the existing resources. Final question then. What is your advice about working with a partner, and who should work with a partner?
I think for me, I feel like it's absolutely critical. I've done 2 implementations over the last 5 years. One was with Salesforce, where we used an implementation agency, and this one is obviously with you guys. For me, I think we wanted to move at pace. I think we set quite a punchy target for when we wanted to get HubSpot live. If you want to move quickly and also want to utilize best practice, I think it's really key that you do get an implementation agency on board, because you definitely saved us a lot of time in order to get to the endpoint, but also providing that we work with other clients. We've seen similar business models to you guys, not necessarily exactly the same, but there's some transferable stuff, adding real value. We always said we want to make the most of this system. We don't want to just roll something out because, we've got stuff now that's working. It's not working particularly well, but it's there. We wanted to do something really, really good that really helped propel our business into what we know we need to achieve. So I think it's quite a fluffy answer I've just given there, but for me, it's an absolute given. If I was ever to do something like this, I wouldn't hesitate with getting an implementation agency. Especially for, as I say, from YardLink side, I don't think there was anybody who'd used HubSpot before. So it's quite a leap to go into a new system without the support and guidance from somebody who knows it inside out. I think it would be quite a brave thing to do.
Brilliant.
So, yeah.
And how did you find working with the team?
Yeah, great. I think, as I said, it's a very involved project. There was a lot of process work that we had to do at our side. And there was a lot of setup, I suppose, to get to that point. But we had some really good people working on the team. Call out Tommy specifically as somebody who I felt like I spoke to the most. Literally available so much through the project, and really gave confidence, I think, definitely to me as like an expert to go to for any challenges that we were experiencing. I think the big thing as well was we had the project, and we always knew that we wanted some additional resource from you guys, that when we went live, I'd also say that's really important, because you obviously cost up the project, you cost up HubSpot, you then cost up, right, we're going to need some form of support through an implementation agency. But often you don't necessarily think past that point. And I know, especially from a reporting side, which kind of, obviously was configured after, that was so important. And then even just, that bank of hours. So you have around the business a checkpoint to go to say, can we just run this past you? We're keen to do this. Is this feasible? Is really, really helpful. And then HubSpot is great, like the HubSpot support. We've got obviously an enterprise HubSpot setup, which means we get amazing customer service in terms of like the call me now function, which is like within 5 minutes, and then the live chat. I mean, I pretty much use it every week. Everybody around the business has access to it, and they'll often use it themselves to self-serve. It's so good. Just feels like we've got a lot of support, and I know that we could obviously reach out to you guys as well if we needed something really specific that we know we need extra help on.
Hollie, thank you very much for your time. Really enjoyed our conversation. I'm so pleased that YardLink has gone with HubSpot and BBD Boom, and delighted with the progress you've made so far on your journey, and wishing you and everybody at YardLink a lot of success with continuing to grow with HubSpot.
Cheers, Adam. Appreciate it.
Thank you.